You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Cricket Podcast for our Sunday evening IPL weekend roundup show. I'm Jack Hope, I'm joined by Max rowe-brown. How are you doing, Max rowe-brown? It's a good game.
Hello.
The last one we just watched was a really good game.
It was, yeah, a bit of ebb and flow. It was nice, but yeah, I'm well. I'm a little sleepy. I went to a wedding yesterday in Yorkshire. So just come back down from that today. So
God's
we'll
country.
see how it goes.
Yeah.
Eh?
God's country.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed, yes. YJB not around, unfortunately.
You didn't see him.
No.
I know somebody that met him at the, is it like the Wisden Cricket Awards or something like that? I know a guy who won one of them. Not like, he's not a professional cricketer, and I don't want to expose who he is because you'd find out quite quickly if I said which award it was. But he got this award, and he got to sit next to Johnny Bairstow all evening, so it was a very intense experience.
Nice. Are there any awards we could win that would?
I don't know.
Such luxuries.
I don't know. It was just after he did his leg, and apparently he was like showing off his X-ray photos to everyone and stuff like that. So Bairstow.
Cool.
On this episode of the Cricket Podcast, we have 4 games to talk about. We have the aforementioned Rajasthan Royals beating the Gujarat Titans. Mumbai Indians, they won a game against Kolkata Knight Riders, and Venkaiah became the second centurion of this year's IPL. Punjab won. I think it was a thriller. It was a game that probably shouldn't have been a thriller, but they turned it into a thriller yesterday. And then there was another cricket match as well, which will be the last.
Involved Delhi Capital, so we know what happens.
Yeah, which will be the last one we talk about. Poor Delhi. It's really all gone wrong for them. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a favour. Hit like, hit subscribe. Keep us marching towards 13,000 subscribers. We might have got there actually, but if we haven't, do us a favour. Click like, click subscribe. And if you're on Spotify, Apple, other podcast platforms, Google, leave a review. 5 stars saying this is the best cricket podcast I've ever listened to.
Everyone will believe you.
And everyone will believe you. In fact, why not go further than that? This is the best podcast I have ever listened to.
There's not a lot of competition. That's fine.
Right, Max, for people who are listening to this a little bit later, can you quickly summarise what happened in the game that we're going to talk about first?
Absolutely. So we had the Gujarat Titans batting first, and it was quite a lot like you'd expect from one of their innings. Shubman Gill batted quite nicely. They went along at a reasonable rate, and then David Miller accelerated at the end. Unfortunately, because they were batting solo down the order, we didn't get to see any fireworks from Rahul Tewatia and Rashid Khan, but we did see them from Avinav Manohar, and that was nice. There were some big sixes involved, so they managed to propel themselves to 177 for 7 from their 20s, all the 7s, and looked like it might be a reasonable score. It didn't look like it was necessarily the flattest deck of all, and it certainly looks difficult when Mohammad Shami came in and swung the ball all over the place, removed Joss Butler's off stump. Pandya had Jaiswal, and they were struggling, the Royals, needing about 30 and over for the last half of it, but we know what the Royals are like, don't we? They had Samson, they had Hetmeyer, they've got Dhruv Jurel now, and they've got Ravi Ashwin. So between them all, they came in, they smacked it around, and then for some reason, Noor Ahmed had to bowl the last over, and they made it home with 4 balls to spare.
So my stream cut out for the last 2 balls.
Sky died, didn't it?
Yeah,
Sky died.
So I don't actually know what happened to win. Did he hit a 6 to win it?
I think so, yes. I think it was 2 and then 6.
That's class, isn't it? Winning the game with a 6. Let's talk about the headline news, Max, I think, from this. Hetmeyer, Hetmeyer, because he's out, like he doesn't get, and he probably won't get full glory here. He probably didn't win man of the match or anything, but Samson as well. They put on a real clinic, didn't they, after a short period of rebuilding, and dismantled a pretty good bowling attack. I mean, certainly one of the best bowling attacks of the tournament that really took them to pieces.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often you see Rashid Khan going for 46 off his 4 overs. He was expensive, and that was the moment where it changed. Sanju Samson took him for 3 sixes in a row, decided he was going to go for it, and he rattled him a bit, knocked him off his length slightly, and it it really was the turning point and put some impetus into that Royals innings and gave them a chance. Even when Samson was out, when Hetmeyer came in, took a few balls to get going, but once he hit that first six, you sort of had a feeling that something was in the offing. There was momentum is whether you believe in it as a concept in T20 cricket, but there was something there that made you think they're turning this around. They've got this. Whether it's just the fact that we've seen it so many times from the same players, but they were really impressive. Alzari Joseph did spray the ball all over the place though as well, which helped. He was bad today.
Yeah, he was. He certainly wasn't. He was bowling very, very fast. But it was kind of like bad fast, wasn't it?
It was like, I'll just get some bat on this.
It's kind of the quicker it comes, the faster it goes away as well. It was that kind of fast bowling.
Yeah, and I assume that's why they ended up with the 19-year-old left arm wrist spinner who was come on as the impact player bowling the final over.
Yeah, let's talk about actually his introduction as well, just quickly. Why do you reckon they went with him over Josh Little? I
genuinely don't know.
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense to me, especially because he bowled 2 overs and 2 balls. He bowled the last over. Rashid Khan, who is the best leg spinner in the world, was expensive, and Alzari Joseph, who is your guy, probably one of the 2 guys that you want to come in and bowl pace and try and keep it tight in the middle overs or at the end, was having a bad day.
Yeah.
So you had a guy on the bench
could have
who bowls death overs, who would seem like he would be the right fit. I mean, to be fair, Noor Ahmed did get the wicket of Samson in that over, and he did okay up to the end, and it was a bit of a tough ask for him. But it did. I'm confused. I'm also confused, about only giving Mohit 2 overs, because he was bowling sort of in that. It was just after the sort of the power play, wasn't it? Because you had Shami was bowling, had Pandya bowled the first over, and he was just bowling wicket to wicket, top of off stump, and he was hitting it every time, and they couldn't hit him. They couldn't deal with it. It's like you could burgle another one of those in.
Maybe earlier. I think by the end of the innings.
Yeah, not by the end. I think when he was going, try and get as much mileage out of that as you can, and it gives you a bit more leeway at the end, I think. But I was surprised not to see Josh Little.
I thought it was odd. I mean, he's very highly rated, isn't he, Noor Ahmed? Like, he's not like, this isn't he's a bad cricketer comment. It's more like what they kind of needed, and actually, sort of what the surface seemed to be rewarding best was seam bowling. None of the spinners in this match walk away with particularly good figures, to be honest. In the first innings, there were 12 overs of spin bowled. Adam Zampa 1 for 32 is the pick of the bunch. It's not. Yeah. It's okay. You'd probably it's an acceptable day out.
12 overs of spin they went through in the end.
Yeah.
The Royals.
It
was interesting.
The other thing, that struck me about this was just how high quality the game was overall. I mean, it's quite, you're being quite picky, I think, or we're being quite picky to be like, oh, Noor Ahmed playing instead of Josh Little is kind of maybe a little bit of a mistake there. I thought, generally speaking, the quality of cricket was, extremely, extremely high. There were maybe a couple of wayward overs here and there, but not, it was a good game. These teams really went at it, and
the finalists from last year, and they've kept the core of their sides together, haven't they? They've looked strong, haven't they? These two. So we weren't sure about the Titans before the tournament, but I think, have they changed their minds?
Yeah, 100%. I think from what I've seen in the tournament so far, these are the 2 best teams, probably by a distance. I think Rajasthan are the best team, and I think like the way they won with Hetmeyer and Samson rebuilding and then launching is kind of a new string to their bow. And I think like the addition of the super sub probably benefits them more than any other team. Like they went, I think from last year, they went from a good team that was quite reliant on Jos Buttler for large chunks of the season, and Hetmeyer and Samson. So 3 good players. Don't get me wrong, but there was a little bit of a reliance there. Now they sort of bat all the way down. I mean, like who's in at the end? You obviously got Hetmeyer.
So it was Trent Bolt in at 9, But if you want a tail ender to come in and hit a six, off
Yeah,
one
I don't
ball,
mind that. I mean, I think Ashwin
just
at
let
8
guys do
is a
it.
pretty good 8, and Jarrell makes a big difference. And in some games, they've had Holder there as well. So
Yes.
I think it's been a real boon to their chances. The super sub. I think almost every other team is sort of using it to try and balance out.
It's fixed the issue they had last year, wasn't
exactly.
it? Where they had Ashwin coming in at 3 to try and lengthen things. Now they've just got it's almost like they made up a rule that just perfectly suits them. And you can see that in how they've used it, because they're consistently going with the approach of, okay, pick an extra bowler, bring in an extra batter, or the other way around, depending on whether you're batting first. And we've seen in the last, week or so, week and a bit, and don't get me wrong, I'm quite enjoying it, because I'm actually not enjoying seeing how teams are using it differently, because we were worried after the first few games that was all we were going to see. We've seen teams use it a bit differently, but I think this is the most settled way of using it, given the way the rules are structured. I don't like that, but that is, the logic, the common sense is that that's what you should do. The Royals are doing that because they've got a settled team and they know what they're doing. And the number of teams, like we said the last couple of shows about, now picking like 3 overseas and mixing stuff around, it suggests that maybe they've got a little less certainty.
Yeah, I think the super sub rule it's not called that, it's impact sub rule. It literally couldn't be any better for the Royals. They had a weakness, and it has, like, in one stroke solved the problem they had. They would lose this game last year even with the performances of Sampson and Hetmeyer. They needed 18 off 10 from Jarrell to get them over the line, to give them that little boost. If everything is the same and Trent Bolt is coming in at 8 instead, I don't think they get there. I think or you go into the last over with 15 required, which maybe you win. Like, to be fair to Hetmeyer, he was on one. He was on a mad one, as they would say.
Yeah.
It's Rian Parag watch. I don't know if you saw the tweet that I found or that we found.
No.
Where he said before the season, he said this year I can feel it. I'm going to hit 4 sixes in an over.
Okay, it's plenty of time.
He currently has 2 sixes for the tournament. After 5 matches, one of which it's
a slow burn. It'll be fine.
He's got a lot of confidence, that boy. An awful lot of confidence. Josh Butler, he only got 0, which is the worst score.
Only got 0. Yeah, the worst score you could get.
Which is the worst score you could get. Should we write him off?
Yeah, he's crap. Yes. Get him out. Sack him. And not only that, he tried to do it with a ramp shot. How dare he? What a disgrace.
Yeah.
Like I said, Mohamed Shami bowled really well in that power play. It was swinging, and it was tough.
Yeah.
You could say maybe Josh Butler should have tried to stick it out a bit, but that's not how he plays, and that's not how we want people to treat the power play. So good on him for throwing his wicket away, I say.
Fair. Okay. I mean, I'll accept that. If you like. So cool. I think that's most of the points from the game. I really enjoyed it. It was, I think, game of the tournament in terms of quality and what like you want to see from the IPL.
Not carnage, not madness.
No, there wasn't.
Like excitement, but
there was plenty of excitement. There wasn't like my god, I've never seen anything like this before. It wasn't that kind of excitement. But there was plenty of like really exciting cricket, and I thought all the stuff from Hetmeyer was great.
Yeah,
cool.
No, it was good, and I think these are the two to beat, aren't they?
They do appear to be that. Right, we've got one super chat in, Max. We'll do that, and then you're going to tell us about Manscaped, and then we'll take a break. So Jitter says, really feeling Rajasthan Royals vibes this year. My 2023 giving pledge, $100 contribution to the cricket podcast if they win it all. Are donations to you tax deductible? I know Max is a tax man in his day job, so you can tell me.
Take that away.
You have to take that one away.
Do you want to write it down to tax? We can call it a charitable donation. That's fine.
If people are going to start giving us money, thank you, Jitter, as well. For if the Rajasthan Royals win the tournament, then I will become a Rajasthan Royals fan. So
I think that counts as sponsorship. So tax deductible.
Here's a question: like, can we start talking about Rajasthan as like the best T20 team in the world at the moment. And where do you think they rank in terms of like some other good ones that we've seen in the past before we do Manscaped?
Well, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one. We didn't discuss this in the notes. This is
no, we
just
didn't.
come up with this. So.
I'm gonna say because what we were talking about, the impact sub, that is quite limited to the scope of the IPL at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to compare them to some of the best teams out there. I mean, as you know,
would they beat England?
If you put them, would they be?
Well,
do they get to have Josh Butler?
Yeah, both teams get. It's
So
like
Butlers.
FIFA Ultimate Team. So there's two versions of Josh Butler.
Josh Butler.
Yeah.
Do they beat England?
England have got Prime Butler, and Rajasthan Royals have got. I don't know. I
reckon they beat England 3 to 4 times out of 10. I think they're a really good side, but I think the impact player thing, like we said, does make a big difference. And if you pitted them against people on equal weight where there isn't the impact sub, there are enough holes there that maybe not. But if you stuck them up against any T20 side from around any franchise league, they'll probably win because the IPL is still the strongest league and they're the best team in it. So. I'm not gonna see it. I'm not gonna say they're gonna turn up at the Oval and Surrey are gonna roll them over. Put it that way.
I think that's probably what I would say as well. I think they might not be at the level of some of the best international teams in India and England. I think would beat them, but they're pretty handy. I don't think they're at the level of the Mumbai team from a few years ago as well, which I think would have beaten England.
They were good. Yeah. They were seriously good.
But it's a good team. I'm really enjoying watching them play as well. They are an exciting team to watch.
Yeah, good kit. Yeah, got the lot.
And a lot of people have written them off. So look, big love in for Rajasthan Royals. People are asking where Ross is. Obviously, is the big Rajasthan fan. We don't really know. He just declared at 5 o'clock. I can't do the podcast today. So I don't know if you've seen Ross. Probably in a pub in South London somewhere. Can you let him know that he's supposed to?
Tell him we said hi. Yeah. Ask him how he is.
Yeah, exactly. Max, Manscaped, talk to me.
Yes, Manscaped. So as you should be fully aware by now, as a keen listener and follower and supporter of the Cricket Podcast, we are sponsored by Manscaped.com, and you can go to Manscaped and get 20% off their array of wonderful bits of kit. And free shipping. So, if you want to do a bit of tidying up of your downstairs, then or your upstairs, your nose, your ear, the lot, head over to Manscaped and use the code CricketPod for 20% off and free shipping. It's all good stuff.
It is. Yeah, we can testify to that. Reminder. It's on the screen, actually, if you're on YouTube. CricketPod.
On the screen, it's in the notes.
Gets you 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Do the thing where you like, do the thing where you subscribe. We're going to play our theme tune for 10 seconds, and then we will come back to talk about 2 more cricket matches.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cricket Podcast, where we are going to be talking about... Well, what are we going to talk about, Max? We're going to do Punjab next?
I think so.
We're going to be talking about Punjab Kings' heroic victory over Lucknow Super Giants. Do you know what have been bugging me a little bit about Lucknow? Vuvuzelas.
Vuvuzelas.
Yes. They seem to be the team.
Have they got them at Chapor as well? A CSK going on the Vuvuzelas. I can't.
I've
definitely seen them in a few places. Yeah, and they are heinous, and they should be banned.
So that's a reason.
All sporting events.
There are a few reasons to dislike Lucknow now. I think the Vuvuzelas, King Legend do. I don't know if you dislike them because of King Legend, but he is kind of.
I almost pity them.
Yeah, for King Legend.
What they got to put up with.
Maybe, but definitely the Vuvuzelas. I don't know, they've been around for 2 years now. It's their second year. They're just a bit of a meh franchise, I think, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, I think it started when they designed their logo, which
is
bang average.
I'll defend the logo.
I like it.
Yeah, I quite like the dragonfly thing going on. Anyway,
is that what it's supposed to be?
I think it's supposed to. I can't remember what it is. It's like a Baruda or something like that. Is the name of the insect? It's like the state insect.
Okay, well, I will rescind my comment. I'll have more respect for it.
If somebody who actually knows anything about
State
Lucknow,
insects.
yeah, could let us know in the comments. Offer a little bit of clarification around that. That would be ideal.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, Max, what happened yesterday?
Well, what happened is we've already alluded to him, and the supreme leader himself, King legend KL Rahul. He set a platform for Lucknow. That's what he did. He dug the foundations. He poured in the concrete. He set up some good, strong, sturdy timber frame, and built a bit of floor for the Lucknow Giants innings house that he was building. And it took him about as long as it would to build the innings as it would to actually lay foundations and build the first half of a house. 74 or 56. It's better than it has been, in fairness. We should give him that credit. It is an improvement, but when you're taking half of your team's balls and you're scoring at 132, it's not good enough, mate. I'm sorry. It left them with a bit of catching up to do, and they made a fist of it. And the world's best reviewer and decider that he is captain, Sam Curran, King leader legend.
Yeah.
Sam Curran, captain. A brilliant review to get rid of Stoinis with a strangle down the leg side, which ended the momentum of the Lucknow innings, and they limped to 159 for 8. Which, yeah, we probably thought it wasn't the flattest deck in the world, but we thought it would be easy enough to chase down. And Matthew Short scored some runs. That was nice. Sikandar Raza got a 50, so now he's firmly in the banks as an IPL player. But they limped along slowly as well, didn't they, Punjab? So they were running out of time and they were running out of wickets, and somehow they managed to turn what looked like a fairly comfortable chase into a bit of a slog. And fortunately for them, they finally swapped the actor Shah Rukh Khan with the cricketer Shah Rukh Khan. He showed his prowess of what was it, 3 relay catches to himself on the boundary, or just the 2?
I think it was just 2.
Just the 2, but yeah, there was some good catching. 23 off 10, and that got them over the line handily. In the end, a 2-wicket win. Punjab march on.
Yeah, a couple of sixes off Mark Wood as well. Like Shah Rukh Khan, I for 3 years now, I've not really understood like what it is he does. And then today, or yesterday rather, I kind of got it a bit more. Like he can, he
can biff it.
He can feel properly, and he obviously can hit fast bowling. Like you don't accidentally hit. Well, I think one was a bit of a top edge, wasn't it?
He did accidentally hit Mark Wood, but he also correctly, deliberately hit Mark Wood.
He hit Mark Wood for one really good 6 and one top edge, but yeah, it's not the end of the world, is it? Like it was pretty good. They made a real meal of it, I thought. Generally, well, certainly in this IPL, but generally speaking, on sort of tricky surfaces where you get 159 batting first, you do lose in T20 cricket. Like the team batting second I think that's when you see the biggest chasing advantage is in these types of games, because you
it's easier to pace, isn't it?
Yeah, basically, effectively, that is it. And it's easier, I think, as well, to pick which bowlers that you're going to target. And to try and negotiate them, or to try and negotiate some of the other ones as well. If you know you only have to get 160 to win, don't actually have to take down every single bowler, do you? You can score a run a ball in the power play. If you lose a couple of quick wickets, you can actually rebuild for a fair while. And they kind of did that. I think like it was when Sikandar Raza was out that it got a little bit dicey, because at that point,
sort of almost after he got his 50, because his 50 actually came in reasonable time.
It did.
50 off 33 or something.
Yeah,
and then he scored 7 runs off his next 8 balls. And that kind of put the brakes on.
I think they got it down to 23 off 19 balls, and then it was still like 20 off and over. Not an off and over, but like the brakes really did activate. Activate. I want to ask you about. So I'm going to exonerate King Legend's innings here. I don't think there's that much to say. I think it's fine. I think in the context of the game, like 159 is not a good enough score. But it's not his fault, I would say. There are 12 extras. So there's actually, well, you're good at maths. What's that mean off the bat? 147 runs off the bat. He's got more than half the runs. The rest of the team that sort of let him down a bit. It was also a game.
That's fair,
170 would have won them the game, and
yeah,
if a guy
one
gets
other batter had scored at 130, then I guess they would have got fairly close to it. Yeah,
the rest of the team had 64 balls to get 90, 80, which should be achievable, I think. So I'm exonerating King Legend's batting. I do have a question though. It wouldn't be a cricket podcast episode with Lucknow involved if we didn't criticise him for something.
So captaincy then.
Yeah. So why didn't he bowl Ravi Bishnoi?
Don't know. Did he forget he was there?
I don't know.
Was he injured? Did he hurt himself?
No, he wasn't injured. He was bowling. He bowls 2.5 overs.
He bowled 2 overs,
and he bowled in the last one. But he was bowling well. It was like a tricky surface to bat on. And
he takes wickets. And if you're defending 159, you're not going to do it by keeping them to under 159 in 20 overs.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be anyway. If you are, then something's gone horribly wrong.
I don't fully understand it. I mean, he's gone for 4 overs of Krishnappa Gautam.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing as well.
Which is, it's fine. It's not necessarily a bad thing that he's done that. But, like, resource allocation would tell you if you
3 overs of Krunal as well.
Yeah, you've got those 3 spinners. You've got 12 overs of spin, and you say, in this case, he decides he wants to bowl 10 of them. 4 of them have to be bowled by the best spinner. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Now, probably, I don't know, during the innings, was there like some left-hander situation or something like that?
Well, I don't think so, because, I mean, you got Sikandar Raza was in there for a while. Sam Curran didn't come in until for a while. And Ravi Bishnoi's got really good googlies anyway. So it's almost like a left-hander matchup doesn't even matter, even if that were the reason.
So
I don't think it was.
No, I don't think it was either. I thought it was just, sort of very strange
to end up with him bowling the last over as well. Like, not only just like not bowling him out like earlier, to end up then. I mean, I sort of understand how it can happen when you are trying to like push and take those last couple of wickets. You're like, okay, well, maybe Mark Wood is going to be the one who blows it open in the 19th over.
Yeah, I've got no problem using Mark Wood. Like that's
and that's how he's ended up having to finish with Ravi Bishnoi. But I mean, just resource allocation. That's why it's off.
I really don't understand it, because the way you're going to win if you've only posted 159 is probably bowling out the other team, or having them like 8 down quite early, in the 15th over or something like that, so that they can't. There's a bad batter there and they can't really do anything.
Yeah, and like it's not like his first 2 overs were expensive either. It's like it was
good. Yeah,
he kept it tight. He's having a good run season. Rate, the required rate was increasing while he was bowling. So keep him on to keep the pressure on.
Slightly strange. Slightly strange. I didn't really understand it. I don't understand.
I'd like to hear why. I would like to know the explanation.
Probably something insane. That's normally what he does, isn't it? You ask him a question, he says something sort of nuts. So that's Lucknow Punjab. I think. Of the 2, I still think Lucknow are a kind of better cricket team. To be honest, I mean,
on paper, I think they've probably suffered slightly from Deepak Huda having a poor start to the season. He was, probably above his normal level last year. He had a really good year. He's gone below his level quite considerably so far this year. I think. Puran, okay. Fine. Last time he played, he was ridiculous. So we'll let him off. It's you look at that lineup and you think they could be doing better. Or maybe the Carl Mayers thing. Is it De Kock time?
It might be De Kock time. I mean, I think
because he didn't bowl either.
I think De Kock should basically be an automatic selection for them, and they have to work out whether they want Stoinis or Mayers. Probably.
Or Mayers,
I don't think there's any. I think they've really tied themselves up in knots if they're not picking him. And I think they definitely in one of the games, the coach on the sideline said that it was a tactical choice or a strategic choice that they were going with Mayers because I guess they think he's the hot hand or something like that. It's not like an injury or he's got jet lag or something like that.
And in fairness, we do like seeing Carl Mayers do a back foot cover drive for 6, and he did another one, so we did get that.
Yeah, look, he's having a reasonable season, but I do think Quinton de Kock is.
He's a manifest.
Quinton de Kock
player.
might be in a world 11.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's strange. It's strange that you wouldn't have him in your team, and you'd be.
I'll probably drop Puran now.
Well,
play de Kock instead.
That could happen. I think Lucknow can sort it out. I actually think they're a fairly competent
they're a
team.
solid side. I mean, and they're still they're second, aren't they? So they're still fine. I
Yeah,
think for Punjab, it sort of laid bare a bit the issue that we fully expected at the start, wasn't it? That is the batting going to be able to live up to the bowling? No, but it did just about enough.
Yeah, it did do just about enough. So fair play to them. Both 3 and 2. So they're playoff teams.
Yeah,
as things stand, aren't they? Which, by any measure, a pretty good start to the season. I can see Punjab sliding down the table a little bit.
There are teams below them that I would expect to overhaul them, namely RCB and Sunrisers. But we know all about those two, so it's entirely plausible that doesn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, Max, should we do another game and then take a break?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're making this up.
Are we off to KKR Mumbai?
I think that we are, actually, yeah. So we're off to KKR Mumbai. Have you got a summary for this, or do you want me to do it?
You can do it.
Thanks. So I'll get the game up. This is the annoying game where I never get to watch all of it. So I didn't see Arjun Tendulkar bowl. But I know that's how it started. Arjun Tendulkar bowled.
Arjun Tendulkar played. I mean, that's the first thing we need to say. Is the year of Arjun Tendulkar?
It could be. We've got plenty of time for some Arjun Tendulkar chat, and I'm sure people are ready for our takes. And he didn't get a wicket, but he did bowl the first over. It was a bit like a ceremonial first pitch. You know, they have that in baseball. They get like a local...
like Bruce Willis on or something.
Yeah, that was the kind of vibe I got from this. It's like, here he is. He's going to have a go, and now the real cricket will take place. Venki Iyer, he brought most of the real cricket. 104 off 51 balls. Maiden IPL century for him, which I think also the top score for this year. Only him and Harry Brook have hit tons. So pretty good, you would say. Sadly for Venki, basically nobody else did anything. Like it was also another one of those sort of slightly mystifying KKR games where Andre Russell comes in like obscenely late, and you're like, why? Why have you done it this way?
Below Shardul Thakur.
Well, yeah, they put Shardul Thakur above him, and it did work. It worked once, didn't it, Shardul Thakur? I don't know.
They're so funny. They are so funny, KKR.
I
genuinely love it.
I feel like 123 for 4. Is that not when you say we want Andre Russell now?
Yeah, let's really finish this bad boy off.
Yeah, you got like 7 overs left. Like bang on 7 overs left. Like why are you not? Why are you not pressing the Andre Russell button? You're going at 10 and over. You could end up with 220 if Andre Russell comes off.
Yeah.
And instead, he faces like 11 balls and gets 21 runs. So this isn't really a summary. This is just things I don't like about how they went about things.
Entirely reasonable. Yeah.
So that happened. The bowling from Mumbai was slightly better than it has been. I think maybe they're pushing towards I don't know about a solution. But like 185, I think is a reasonable score to hold people to. A few of the people like go for 10 and over, like Meredith, for example. But I don't think that's
the 1K days pretty good batting.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's what I'm getting at. Like it could have been worse. That's not necessarily, I think, on this day.
It could have been a lot worse when a guy scored 154 or 51 balls. Like the rest of the team have scored. Well, I think there was 12 wides as well.
Yeah.
So the rest of the team realistically has scored about 60.
They've got to run a ball.
69.
They've got about a run a ball. The rest of the team.
That's atrocious.
So what I'm saying is, Mumbai, we've not given credit to their bowlers in a few matches, but I think they actually, as a group, did quite well in this game. Then with the bat, they did extremely well. No, and you can sort of see that this would happen or could happen with this Mumbai team. Like they all fired. They made really light work of it. I think first ball of the innings, Rohit Sharma was dropped by Umesh Yadav, wasn't he? Like a return catch. So it could have been could have been completely different. But it wasn't. Ishan Kishan was smacking the ball left, right, and centre. Surya Kumar Yadav, remember him? 43 of 25. He's back.
He's back, baby.
That's good. That is good. And Tim David, I don't know if have you heard his home stats or his stats at the Wankhede.
No, are they good?
It's 150 runs off 70 balls
Okay.
so far in his career there. Like,
bit of a homer.
I think it's quite a nice surface for, like you say, for batting. But I also think his style of batting, which is sort of like
hit through the line,
thuggish batting.
Yeah,
I think it works quite well. The ball's not doing it. It doesn't really deviate up and down. It's just like doesn't stay low. It's a nice bit of bounce there.
Stubbs away, David at home. Maybe that's the.
Well, I think just Tim David all the time. I mean, like again, I would probably have Tim David in my world 11.
Just like pure finisher.
Yeah, I think he's brilliant. I think he is, and he's like on a global tour of brilliance as well. He's a really excellent cricketer. I don't know, maybe I wouldn't say that. Maybe he's not a really excellent cricketer. He's a really excellent clubber of a cricket ball.
He's fantastic hand-eye coordination.
Yeah. Do you know he's like playing like Dutch Division 2 cricket?
I do, yeah. That's where Surrey picked him up. Not last year, but the year before last, because basically got a bunch of injuries, and we're like, well, we need someone to come in. And I was like, oh, they've signed this guy who plays for Singapore called Tim David because he was just around in the Dutch division. And then turned out that it was Tim David, and so that was well done, the scouts, I guess.
Yeah,
done their due diligence.
Pretty good. KKR sprayed the ball around with the a little bit with ball in hand. Sunil Narayan, I mean, these
got pounded.
Must be some of the worst figures of his career. 3 overs for 41, no wickets. And Chakravarti suffered a little bit of regression after a nice start to the season as well. Went for 9.5 and over. So yeah, that's. I don't know if that was a summary.
What do we think of Suyash Sharma?
I like it.
What's he done? 3 games now?
I like it.
Been pretty effective every time.
It's a crazy bowling action. I think he's the only bowler in the world who has a flipper. So
really,
which is cool.
Channeling the great man.
Yeah, it's like a weird one. He like flicks it off his finger or something like that. But I can't think of another bowler doing that.
Yeah.
So that's
so Googly's because I mean the flip sort of Shane Warne generally did the flipper because the Googly was too much for his shoulder by the end, wasn't it? Was that
no?
The reason?
I think so. The flipper
more control.
No, I think what the flipper does is it spins backwards. So the ball, because of that, it flies further through the air. So it doesn't dip. Like so the leg spinner would dip, and it bounces shorter than you think because of the drag of the ball that comes out with a bit of top spin. The flipper comes out with, you flick it out your hand. It's really hard to control. I've tried it. It's like nuts. That one year I was like, I'm just start bowling loads of flippers. That'll work. And I went down the nets.
Did it not work?
It's almost impossible. Like I don't know how people do it, but you have to kind of flick it out your hand like that. Yeah. Anyway, so Shane Warne, I think he stopped bowling it because of his shoulder, but he flicked it out.
Yeah, there was a shoulder thing.
So it comes out with backspin and then it stays low as well. So you get like there's a couple of really good videos of him. I think he bowls Alex Stewart with one where he bowls like a short leg break that gets hit for 4, and then the next ball's a flipper and it like gets about ankle height, and Alex Stewart's like playing a cut shot and it just looks awful.
That looks really bad.
And I think he did it. Who's the other bloke, the South African, Daryl Cullinan? I think there's another video of him doing exactly the same thing to Daryl Cullinan, like a short ball that gets pulled for 4, and then the next ball is the flipper, and it's like,
yes,
you've been shamed.
They had a bit of history, didn't they? Those two.
So yeah, KKR they briefly flickered into life in this tournament, didn't they? Really exciting. I mean, again, this is objectively an interesting cricket match. Like, if you went and you saw that, you'd be like, that was a good. That was
cool. I enjoyed that.
That was exciting, and that's kind of what KKR are bringing to the table. Is like
Yeah, there are. I mean, they're vibes. They're pure vibes.
Yeah.
KKR. 100. Like they just have a. Whose day is it today? Let's spin the wheel.
But it has. So someone has had a day in pretty much every game.
Yeah.
They're probably a little bit unlucky not to. Well, I mean, they shoot. I do think they really shoot themselves in the foot by not using Andre Russell properly.
Yeah.
And that probably means they don't end up with enough runs when they should definitely have ended up with enough runs. And then their bowling,
Yeah.
I don't know, had to be kind about it, had an off day.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah.
But they like objectively they are a fun side. Mumbai, they are kind of similar. Like I don't think either of these styles of cricket and either of these team makeups are effective. I don't think they're clever. I think they made loads of stupid mistakes.
Yeah. But they've both got a bunch of Galacticos who could take on any given day do stupendous things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any team with Suryakumar Yadav in and Tim David in is gonna be exciting sometimes. Any team, KKR, any team with Narayan and Dre Russ, but basically those two. But
despite the fact that neither of them have done anything this year.
Lord Shardul Thakur, Dre 21 off 11 balls. That's something.
That was all right. Yeah, it's the first time he's appeared this year, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a quiet season so far. I mean,
but yeah, they're fun.
They're fun teams. I don't think they're going to do anything. KKR are 2-3 now. Mumbai 2-2.
Yeah, I mean that is substantially better than I think we had either of them pegged at this stage, isn't it? But
yeah,
like I said,
I'm kind of more surprised by KKR in a way. Like I think with Mumbai, like they have more better players or more elite level players. They also have some shockers, but they do have some match winners there. They have more match winners, and Mumbai have also got to play Delhi and they've got to play KKR, who are
yes.
I mean Delhi are an abomination.
There is the Delhi factor.
Have KKR had their Delhi match yet?
I was just going to look at that. So KKR beat RCB, didn't they?
No, KKR have got Delhi on
in that mental game
on Thursday. So
yeah,
it was fun. Arjun Tendulkar, Max. That's the other talking point from this match.
Yeah. Well, nepotism in action, isn't it? That's the story of Arjun Tendulkar. But we thought we might see him this year. I didn't think it would be this early though. And he got to bowl a couple of overs and they were fine. So I guess it was a bit of an anticlimax on Arjun watch.
Yeah, he didn't bat, did he? Which is a shame.
Yeah, didn't bat, but 2 overs, bowled 6 dots. Reasonable job in the power play.
It was okay. I mean, I think the power play is by far the easiest time to bowl, and he goes for. I mean, that sounds nuts because obviously the fielding restrictions mean that it isn't necessarily true. We've actually noted on this podcast that this year power plays have been getting crushed. To be really specific, the first over of the game is the best time to bowl. Like the rest of the power play, maybe not so much, but the first over of the game. And I do think you should generally give that over to somebody who is the most likely wicket-taking seamer that you have.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was Arjun Tendulkar. But that's not his fault. Like, it wasn't in his contract that if he plays, he has to have the first over. I don't know. I mean,
maybe it was. You don't know that.
Yeah, it could have been. I don't really know. I don't really know what he's for still. Like what? Because I think he could bowl a lot in the power play without ever taking a wicket. Like it's a bit like Kyle Mayers. Like he might get the ball to swing around a little bit, but like the guy fundamentally is not a wicket-taking threat. So don't use him in the over of the game where you really want to take a wicket. But where else do you bowl it?
You play Trent Bolt and you're like, okay, Trent Bolt, bowl the first over, take me some wickets. That's your job. In other teams, all right, Carl Mayers, take the first over, get an over out the way. Marcus Stoinis, bowl an over, get an over out. Ben Stokes, bowl the first over, get it out the way.
Yeah, but Ben Stokes actually takes wickets in the power play. Like this is what I'm saying.
He's not that prolific.
He is. Recently in T20 cricket, Ben Stokes on the power play has taken a hatful of wickets. Like Arjun Tendulkar is not clearly not as good a bowler as Ben Stokes.
Can't believe we're even having the conversation.
Yeah. But so I think what I'm getting at is like, what do you use him for? Like, I'm not averse to having him around. I think it's a good story. The first father-son combo in the IPL.
Yeah.
But what is the point of him? Like, what? I don't know. I mean, I don't really know how to put this any other way. Like, why?
He's played for Ealing before.
Okay.
So yeah,
In East
that's
London.
that pedigree. Yeah, mascot, team mascot.
Yeah. I'm just, I'm interested in this. I've got his stats up now. Apparently, he's played 10 T20s. Economy rate of 6.7 and an average of 17.
That's pretty good.
That is good. I mean, like, we don't, it's not really clear who he has played those for and who against. But
no,
like, yeah, like that,
probably Goa
or for Mumbai before he left.
Yeah.
Look, I'm interested in seeing more. I am interested in seeing more. I think if his name wasn't Tendulkar, we wouldn't even have mentioned him. There are actually some really interesting debuts, some like good debuts, and we've ended up talking about this guy. Was it Vishak for RCB, who was good? I don't know if you saw that. But he was. And then Lucknow had a debutant who bowled quite well as well, and I haven't written his name down, so he doesn't get any credit. But like, we could be talking about them because they're actually, players. But because this guy's called Tendulkar, we've spent 5 minutes speculating about a guy we've seen bowl 12 balls. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Anyway, Max, should we have another break and then we'll come back and do the last game?
Yep.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Cricket Podcast where we are talking about the IPL. We've got one more game, RCB v Delhi, to get through. Delhi are abysmal. They're really, really, really poor. And they shouldn't be. They actually, if you look at their teams, their best 11, versus other teams' best 11s, and they shouldn't be bottom. They're better than some of the teams in this league. But they're playing far worse than they look on paper. Far worse.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that in a second. Serious Cricket is something else we're going to talk about. Seriouscricket.co.uk. Use the code TCP23 for 10% off. Get all your cricket equipment. Get your bat, your balls, gloves, pads, helmet, thigh pad, inner thigh pad.
Bats.
You said whites, I said bats. More bats.
Well,
Yeah.
more bats. You need a net bat and a game bat.
That is true. Do you have a net bat?
I do have another bat, but I do just use the one bat at the moment because I'm not good enough to warrant having two bats.
I've got like 3 bats. But I only ever use one. I think the nets are stupid for amateur cricket. I mean, obviously, if you're a professional cricketer, you should use the nets. But I just think you get so little out of them. A bunch of batsmen bowling off spin.
Yeah.
Really badly halfway down. Like, oh, great. Fantastic.
You do get to face a lot of that if you manage to make it past the first change bowlers. No,
my experience is that you don't. So what happens if you face that kind of bowling in a game is you hit it for about 20 and then it goes away. They give the ball to somebody who knows what they're doing.
Or you hit it for about 20 and the next ball you get caught.
Yeah,
and you hate yourself.
That can happen too. Right, Max. Let's talk about RCB. But do go to Serious Cricket, everyone, and get your cricket equipment. Seriouscricket.co.uk. 10% off there on us. That's our gift to you, cricket people. We had cricket beers yesterday, Max, and I have a terrible hangover.
Oh yeah. Well, and I went to a wedding, so we're both feeling it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
what happened in this
RCB
cricket
Delhi.
match? Yeah.
RCB, they batted. They batted quite well. They got to a fairly good score. Then Anuj Rawat came in as an impact sub for Mahapal Lomraw and then blocked out the last 5 overs.
What was he doing?
I don't quite understand what happened there. But they got 174, and that was well enough because Delhi are a joke, basically. Manish Pandey top scored with 50, but it wasn't pretty, was it? It was not pretty. But yeah, like you said, the debutant.
Yeah, he was excellent.
20.
He was really excellent. I feel like RCB have played Delhi here at exactly the right time in the season, haven't they? Delhi have got no answers. Lots of questions.
Yeah. And RCB have just had their mega wobble.
Yeah, they've done the RCB bit. They need to get back on track. The season could easily have gone south if they'd lost this match. All the matches do mean a hell of a lot because there's, just not many. 14 matches is a nuts.
Yeah,
it's a nuts short season.
And like we said, the big blob, the blob of playoff contenders is real. Yeah,
if you're RCB and you lose that and you've won 1, lost 3, you are actually a long way. Your playoff hopes are probably sub 10% at that point. Now they're in a pretty healthy position, 2 and 2. Yeah, it's not an issue, but it was an important game as a point, and playing against Delhi is exactly what you want. And even with this, Barnacle-esque, Chandapal blocking out for the draw, Anuj Rawat 15 off 22, 1 boundary. Even with that, Delhi have got nothing. Quite clearly, 174 is, not actually that great a score at the stadium. We've seen big scores at the stadium. This should have been very chaseable, and that innings should have been a match-losing innings. It turns out to have made absolutely no difference on the outcome of the game at all, apart from probably robbing RCB of a little bit of a net run rate boost. Yeah. They're fucking abysmal.
It's such a strange use of the impact sub as well.
It was, yeah. Delhi, pretty sure running himself out for 0. That's not going to help.
Strong start. Yep.
That was bad. Using Mitch Marsh is the first error. Second error is Mitch Marsh skying the ball. I think he was trying to hit it for 6. Or I'm not really sure. 0 off 4. Is that 2 ducks or 3 ducks for Mitchell Marsh this year? I just don't understand it. I really don't get it. There's no recent performance that should have him batting number 3 in an IPL team. There's no historic precedent for him being good enough.
It's fine though, because they don't have anyone else they could play instead.
Do they not?
Well, yes, they do.
Okay,
they've got Finn Allen, they've got David Willey, they've got Michael Bracewell.
That's people. Yeah, but they're playing for Royal Challengers Bangalore.
Oh yes, I'm looking at the wrong bloody team.
Yeah, you're looking at the wrong team. If they had any of those players, it'd be fine.
It'd be fine. It'd be absolutely fine. Told you, time. Rodman.
They could have Rodman Powell, who averages
Phil Salt.
2 against spin. Phil Salt it's a travesty that we're 5 games into this season. Rodman Powell is averaging 2 against spin, and Mitchell Marsh has 3 ducks, and we haven't seen Phil Salt.
And their wicketkeeper's injured.
And they've got Dave Warner scoring at a run of ball at the top of the order, providing absolutely no impetus whatsoever. And Prithvi Shaw has been a disaster. It's crying out for a guy who can bat in the top 3, who can inject a little bit of momentum into the innings. And he's sitting on the bench while Mitch Marsh, I don't know, plays as a bowler, basically, a bad bowler. Bizarre. He did get 2 wickets actually, didn't he? But I think they were both and he smashed that. Oh my god, what a catch! That kind of wicket. I think it's really funny that he gets a go. I really. We were talking about nepotism and Arjun Tendulkar. I can only think nepotism is involved here too.
It's Ricky.
Yeah, well, maybe Warner. It just doesn't make any sense that you would play this guy.
Yeah, they've also got Riley Russo.
Yeah, they've got him as well. He's their 3rd top run scorer with 44.
Yeah.
Or 4th, maybe. No, he's 4th now.
It's mind-boggling.
Manish Pandey's got 50. It's There is an element of Murphy's Law as well, I think, to Delhi's season. Like anything that can go wrong, kind of has gone wrong. Like they aren't actually a 0-5.
No, I mean
quality
they've
team.
got there's proper players in that
Yeah,
side.
yeah,
Like, that's the thing. Like, Prithvi Shaw's quality, and he's been bad. He's been genuinely bad.
Look, Warner, Shaw.
I think Warner is a problem.
Yeah, he is, but like, there's recent enough evidence, I think, with Warner to suggest that he can still do it to some extent in T20 cricket, and has been playing the way he's been playing. We're not really sure why whether he could, like, he just wasn't timing the ball, or whether he feels out of form, or whether he feels like he had to bat slowly because they were losing lots of wickets at the other end. We don't actually know. It is a suboptimal way of playing. We do know that. But there is evidence that he can, average 40 at 130 over a season. Like, it's not an unreasonable expectation. Or 30 at 140, which would be probably fine as well. Pretty sure should be a banker. Then if you have Salt and Manish Pandey, you actually have an okay top four there. Akshar Patel's turned into a pretty decent finisher. And the bowling's all right. Kuldeep, Norkia, the Fizz, Akshar. It's okay. Like, this isn't a team.
Yeah, you've got to find a few overs from somewhere, but it's not you've got 4 pretty solid choices.
But it's gone badly wrong. They're chopping and changing.
Will they win a game?
Ugly. Yeah.
Are they going to do it? And if so, who? Who are they going to beat?
Yeah. I think they could beat KKR on Thursday.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to ask this question until they win a game.
Yeah. Look, people are saying in the chat about Marsh batting quite well for Australia against India, and it's like he did. Yeah. In fairness, he did. I think he hit 350s, and he had an okay. I think like the 50 over tournament in.
Yeah.
He didn't have an okay. Well, he had an okay game in the final.
Yeah.
Like the guy is not good enough
things,
for this level of
cricket.
These
are the things that stick in people's minds.
But that is basically what
we've talked about the recency bias and the Big Bash and things like that. That's what happens.
It's that, and it's also people who've got in their head that he's a big game player. It's a bit like Stokes. He gets 50 in the final, and it's like, oh, big game player. We need that. We need that quality. But
forget about the fact that we need to get to the big game first.
Well, and forget about the fact that it's a good player beats a big game player 99 times out of 100. Like it's players who solidly produce week in, week out, far higher.
Might also produce in the big
game. Far
game.
higher likelihood that they're going to solidly produce in the final, rather than this punt basically that they've made here. He can't really bowl properly anymore either because he's too injury prone. I wonder with Marsh whether it's like, had he not been as injured as he has over his career, whether he would have been really good. And because he has been injured, he's Mitch Marsh. And people, they can't quite see the wood for the trees in a way. Like, they can't see that the guy doesn't have it, or doesn't have it anymore. And they remember the potential. You get that a little bit. Like, remember like Michael Owen when he was playing for Newcastle at the end of his career?
After he did his knee.
Yeah. Like, people thought, we're using a football analogy, we do this a lot, but people would still kind of remember young Michael Owen. Like, they thought it was that they had.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They had a man who couldn't run anymore.
Will we get to see Ashant Sharma this year?
Yeah. Right. Will we?
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance. I think there's a good. I mean, the season's over. I don't know what they're.
Yeah. I want to see it.
So they could play me and you freely, couldn't they? That's not going to make any difference. Max, we've done an hour. We've done all the shows. We are back, if you are new to this, on Wednesday. We do Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday through the. This is the Cricket Podcast. We will be back at some point in the future. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.